Well, I've been working on the old valve covers for our 327 project. Now you probably saw that I sandblasted them, cleaned out the insides. Oh, I still need to work on this one a little bit, but I'll get it. Now if you don't recall, or if I didn't go over it well enough, I'm doing an old school 60s style 327 for our 86 GMC. And it's a 62 engine, so I'm kind of trying to keep within the early 60s look. And so I wanted the breatherless, you know, just the smooth, no holes, no PCVs, no breather caps, no oil fill holes, no nothing. So I got two right side valve covers, because I've got a huge stock of these from the later 60s through the 80s. I'm actually going to remove both harness clips. I thought I would leave one set for the right side to run wire loom along. That, of course, would end up ruining the look. And the decals I think I'm going to put on these, I can't have those there anyway because they're much too long. So I'm going to remove these from both sides. You can see this one I've already done. Next will be some little bit of filler, sand it down, and then paint it. I am going to leave the baffle in. Well, I'm going to get to that in a minute. So, originally I was going to cut a big old rectangular patch, cut it out of here, get rid of the baffle, get rid of the hole, voila. And I kind of decided against that because where they install the baffle, they actually fold and probably triple the material width in the hole there. It's folded over. So that's how that's connected, and then they spot weld it. I can't see it right now, but there's a spot weld right there. So, you know, obviously that's not going to hurt anything. We'll just clean it up. It'll ride in there like it does on every other small block with a crankcase vent like this. And for those that don't know, on the early small blocks, they had a completely different vent system. So, every now and then when I'm doing electrical work, I pop the plugs out, and some of them I just save. I have a small box of them I save. They are galvanized, so I sandblasted the coating off, so we have good steel to weld with. I would say it's inadvisable to weld on galvanized. You'll get sulfur fumes and you'll get all kinds of nasty stuff, and you won't be happy with how it's welding. So I'm just going to use my magnet, make sure it's flush with the top there. We will tack this dude on. I brought these guys with me to work today because that's where I had my body filler, and I will show you what I'm doing with that in a minute. I don't think I need much of this. It pertains to this same project anyway. Well, sorry about that. Got interrupted here at work, and now I am pushed for time with this body filler. We'll get it on here, and then I'll show you what else we're doing. Normally, I'd be an advocate for putting primer underneath, or primer down first. Yeah, this stuff is drying up. But you know, it works successfully both ways. I'm not going to worry about it too much, especially on this. As you can tell, I'm not worried too much. Putting half-dried filler on these things. Yeah, we'll just glob it on and it'll sand, right? Get where our spot welds were. The wire loom. Yeah, I'm out of time. Kind of like bread dough now. Yeah, if I have to redo it, I'll redo it. Let's get my scrapers cleaned up here so I can use them again. Okay, as you might be able to tell, we got some powdered sugar in this general area here. Only one other video on this truck as far as actually working on it, and been sanding like crazy on it last couple days when I had a little spare time here and there, because I would really like the cab primed and painted so we can put our 327, made it to the transmission, put it in, run it after it's already been painted. Don't know if that's going to work out, and I would still have to mask off, put plastic down all over that stuff anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. But the long and short of it is, I would really like this done or almost done as far as the cab is concerned when we are getting ready to fire the old 327 up. 7 up. So just for review, hail dents on the top, cab corners rusted out, and my weld is clear. Oh, maybe I want some filler down there too. I don't know. Anyway, my weld is clear down here. Right now I'm chasing the concave form of the panel from the factory. You know, I could have sanded it smooth. There's just one hard line in the filler right there, about an inch long. Might as well just make it nice and true and beautiful. That'll be done soon. Same with this one. A little more on there. Had a spot about the size of a $50 on the actual side that you'll see. And then just kind of at the stage of filling in. I really don't have pinholes when I use this filler. Just had little spots here and there. Spot about size, again, $50 or so there and there. But just basically my final, hopefully my final filler. Sand it down, and then we'll get some high build primer and get some paint. And then the cab will be done. And a lot of cleaning up needs to happen then. And maybe you will, maybe you won't remember, maybe you will, maybe you won't care. But I started this project. I think I had a quart of Evercoat Lightweight. I have been using Evercoat Lightweight body filler. My dad used it when I was a kid. I was using it as a teenager, and I'm still using it. It's just great stuff. I'm a big fan of that stuff. So I maybe had a pint left over in a quart can of that when I started this project, used it up, needed to get more, tried to save money on a house brand of a parts supplier, did not like it at all. A lot of it peeled off. That's the pink. It's not Bondo. So I made sure that what's still on there was gonna stay, feathered off nice. It's nice and solid. But then went back to the old trusty reliable. It's good stuff. Does not get a lot of pinholes. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. So we're gonna let this dry. I won't be able to get to it probably today or tomorrow, but when I get back here, we'll sand that off. Yeah, well, I've been working ahead of you a little bit. Not too much. This one's still bare. I'm not wanting to just get completely out of hand on how much time I spend on this. I mean, that would be up to the guy who's doing it. I mean, you could spend a couple days making these things absolutely perfect. But of course we know the factory would have stamped them, painted them, threw them on. If they didn't leak, out the door they went. But I want to pop the hood and at least have something that looks good. So, you know, as I work on it, I find little defects, just like doing any other body work. Prime this one, and it usually takes a nice even coat of something to really see your problem areas you still need to work on. I've got a few little lines or creases in the filler there I couldn't see or didn't catch when it was bare steel and filler. And if you hook your eye here along the shadow line, it's fairly consistent till you get to here, between here and here, and then it just kind of goes away there for a little bit. Well, I ran my finger with filler on it there, and as I was sanding, I kept sighting down the line like this, but you know, you just can't tell that, and so I have a little more sanding to get that down in that corner there. So a couple little touch-ups. I've got a little pinhole there and there, and I still got a little bit of a dent going on right there. Something going on there. And like I said, they're tin valve covers, for crying out loud. But you know, every time I saw that, I would get disappointed in myself, so I better just take care of it. Not going to bore you with all this, and then we will prime these. So, or I'll prime. Everything will be primed in the end. For some reason, Duplicolor put a lot of sags into this can, along with the rest of the formula. No, for some reason it's just a little bit thinner and it wants to sag incredibly easily. I don't know. On the one I've already painted, I did it last night, and she sagged, so I sanded it down this morning and retouched it. So I just need to go easy. Alright, I'll do that one or two more times after she flashes off a little bit, and then we will be ready to go. Well, these things are as clean and shiny as any smog era valve cover deserves to be. Still got the baffle in there, not going to bother me a bit. Now, as far as the decal, or the decals, to our friends in the north, I really went back and forth a lot on what I wanted to do. I was kind of leaning towards this style of decal, but the colors, red and yellow and whatever, I just didn't think would look too good on an Alpine green engine. And that was from, I think, 1960 and before they used that style of emblem. And that's a little earlier than I wanted. And then I thought, well, I could use that design and cut it out on like 20 or 26 gauge on the water jet, and then like JB weld it or weld it in some form, solder it on the valve cover, make it look like it was stamped in there like the Chevy logo or the Chevy script, and do that. Or even an older style like from the 40s and early 50s like this, and just kind of have just make it look like a GMC script valve cover. Really decided not to do either one of those because in the end it wouldn't look correct for our early to mid 60s performance look. You know, it's so finally I just did the ordinary thing that would be correct for this kind of engine, and just got the old high torque 327 truck decals, and it'll look good and it'll look right. So I'm gonna put these on, and we're basically just gonna eyeball it here. Line half of it up. And there we go. Just happened to notice got chunks of an oil ring caught in the baffle here. So someone had a bad day years ago. As far as the oil pan, more the same. Just straighten it a little bit, prime it, paint it. You know, I can worry even less about this than the valve covers because it'll never be seen except by me. But anyway, got a lot of crud, and since I sandblasted it and there was sludge in there, I just want to make sure I get this as clean as possible, obviously. Don't really need to go back over that any. Well, there we go, a simple little video for a simple little thing, but I told you I'd bring you along, so there we go. I hope it was enjoyable, at least on a molecular level, you know. Gave you a little entertainment, but we're going full on old school on this engine, going into that truck. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Valve covers, oil pan are ready to go on. I'm reusing the 86 GMC timing cover, so I'm going to have the right timing tab there for my harmonic balancer and pulley. I kind of wish I was able to use the 86 oil pan so I could use these extra flange liners. I don't know what you call them. Just get a more consistent squeeze when you put your oil pan bolts in, but dipstick is on the wrong side to use that oil pan, so that's okay. We'll get it to seal up. And as I've been working on these, I've also been working on the intake manifold that I'm going to use. I'm going full on old school, so it's going to have the oil spout and cap in the intake manifold, the coil on it. It's going to be fun. Anyway, I sure appreciate you joining me. Thanks a lot. I hope you had just a little bit of fun. God bless you guys. We'll see you on the next one.